Now where do I want to stand? It's going to be the question. Hello, hello, hello. We do have a microphone somewhere. How? Hello. Hello. So I have a rule, like if you're ever asked to speak and they give you a microphone, freaking take it. Like don't be like, I don't need the microphone. You can hear me in the back, right? No, command the mic. Like take the mic. It's amazing what a difference just the audio quality is when there's a microphone. Anyway, because we want to respect your time, we're going to go ahead and get started. Someone was supposed to introduce me, but I'll go ahead and take care of that myself. It's all good. It's all good. And some of it's kind of built into the slides anyway. We are recording this, so if you're going to heckle, be loud enough so we can actually capture it. That'd be great. Because I would be the heckler in the room, so trust me, I understand that. So I have cheat slides, right? So I'm Sam Powell. I need that as a constant reminder. And what's kind of cute is if you were standing up here, you can see on my screen my name and on the back of my phone my name. Just a constant reminder, like, who are you today? So I'm out of Chicago. Well, let's go ahead and address that now. Now, I've already mentioned that I'm recording, and so I don't have my phone on my person. But if I did, I would pull it out right now and say, I'm going to make every effort not to take a live phone call right now. Is it too much to ask that you do the same? Right? Can we actually be present in the room together? That'd be fantastic. I also encourage, and I am this kid, my phone is on Do Not Disturb nearly 99% of the time. Right? So every once in a while I'll have it on because I'm expecting, like I'm, if I'm being inappropriate with someone, I want to see their response. So for those reasons, I'll have it on. But generally speaking, my phone is on Do Not Disturb because we let our technology control us, and that's just silly because we're grown adults in this room together, right? So welcome to group therapy. We are all adults. Those of us that partaked in beverages yesterday, we proved that we are adults and can handle ourselves. Everyone made it home safely. We checked on our friends. Proof of life. Does anyone ever get proof of life requests? Yeah, I do. I share them too. I think they're very important. Check in on your people always, right? They need to know that you're there and that you care, and they need to be in the room. Like, who's missing? Like, call them out on Facebook, like, where are you? Just kidding. We know a lot of people are in other sessions, right, at this time? Yes. So thank you guys for being here. All right, let's get started. And this is the coolest, gadget ever. What the heck? You're welcome. Nugget of the day. Don't spend the money on it, but it's cool. So today we're going to do Sam's top 10 list, right? And I just want to share that they're not really in any particular order. Heavier content at the beginning, and then as I run out of time, which I tend to over time, I don't have a timekeeper in the room. At this time, someone be a timekeeper, because when are we supposed to be done? Kathy? Perfect. I mean, PI before PO? Perfect. Hashtag. And so it's heavy content in the beginning because that's when I'll have your attention span the most. And today it's all about touching, social media, staying in front of people, inspiring people, staying connected, blah blah blah. So let's get into this. So first, I want to learn a little bit about my audience so that I know properly how to engage with you. Just kidding. But how many of you are brand new to the business, under 5 years, 1 to 5 years? Where are my kids? Nice, look at you, under 5. How about 5 to 10? 5 to 10, nice, bigger crowd. 10 to 15, 15 to 20. My 20 plus kids, nice. Any 30 plus kids? We have some 30 plus kids in the room? Fantastic. So what's, how many years?
32.
32, can anyone beat 32? No, it's not a race. You'll get 32 eventually, you'll just never catch up with her, it's fine. 35? Nice. You're like, I'm just going to put it out there. I will be in the business until I die. So 98. 98 years. Not going anywhere. No corporate America will take me. So from a social media perspective, who's playing in the social media space? And what are you using? Who's using Facebook? Instagram? Are we Snapchatting? Yes, some. Twitter? Twitter. I don't use many of those. I'm a fan of being good at one thing and focusing on it, and I have a very poor attention span anyway. And so having all of those and trying to be as engaged and interactive on all of those becomes incredibly difficult even for a kid like me. So my personal advice right out of the gate is use the ones that work for you, right? Whatever that is. So bang on all of them, explore them, learn enough about it, and then the ones that are actually, generating business, because that's what we're in it for, kind of. The ones that are actually working for you, stick with those. And the ones that aren't, that are just noise, just take them off your phone. Got it? I don't use Twitter at all. I barely use Instagram because it doesn't feed the way I want to into Facebook. I primarily use Facebook because I feel like it's the one piece that has been successful for me over time. So I thought I'd share just a tiny little bit about me. This is me. These are my furry children. This is Aphis, named after the fingerprint database. And this is CODIS, named after the DNA database. You're welcome. I am known in the industry for a couple of things. A, sarcasm, which is my first language, English being the second. And also for this super simple concept of we can run our companies anywhere. Soon to be Mars, I'm pretty sure, right? They're gonna have the strongest satellite signal, I think, because you'll be closer to the satellites. But I love this concept of we can be anywhere with anyone and be banging on our client files and building businesses, right? And working remote, right? So I love this whole mobile office concept. So this is me poolside. These are our laptops over there. We sit with them on a towel in the shade and work from the pool, right? That's kind of cool. So for sure post those photos if you're gonna do that. And how we know this, right? How many of us, let's go back just a second, how many of us are staying in touch with our past clients? Like, you're proud of it, you're really good at it, it's working for you, and that's why you're still successful. Yes, it's exhausting. I'm not that kid, I suck at it. Every year I'm like, I'm gonna be better. And every morning I forgive myself for not having been better. And then I try again. But the reality is that I feel like I'm a bit memorable, slightly, and I still have clients that can't find me years later, right? They remember Sam, but they don't look up, they look for Ask Sam instead of Ask for Sam, it's fine. But the message is really clear, right? That if you don't stay in touch with them, they're going to find someone else. So the best nugget for all my kids, brand new kids, don't do what some of us are doing, right? Actually stay in touch with everyone that you do business with, right? You rent a unit to a kid, they're a future buyer for you, right? And even if you were the represented the renter, the place that you rented them, that's a future listing for you because the other agent was me and they're orphaned. Right? It's so true though. So I think it's very important. So they will forget you and it's totally our fault. So welcome to group therapy. We already did that. All right, let's go. So in our business, we're going to touch on every one of these 10, you're actually going to get two things, right? So one is from a business standpoint, and then the other one is from a local network, Women's Council of Realtors standpoint, right? So we're going to throw some extra nuggets in there for you. What I love about, there's no like wrong answer. If you were just going to sit and have a power meeting and just brainstorm, like what can I do to kind of generate some business? This contest idea is kind of cool. And it's not even my brainchild. I wish I could take credit for it. But the company I work for is Dreamtown. It's a small boutique company of 400 agents now, 20 years old now. He runs contests every year. And we have he buys like bus ads and park bench ads in bulk so that we get a nice discount as an agent and it makes it affordable. And then we run a contest that using social media that says basically here are the rules, but this is an example of one of the posts that I would have posted on Facebook that says, if you spot my bus, take a photo, throw it on social media, tag me, and then I will do whatever it says. Right? So sometimes it's lunch, sometimes it's a beer because it's my slides. But every year the company runs a contest, and I think anyone who owns their own company, this is so brilliant for these reasons. So there's rules, right? You have to submit the photos. We get absolute rights to your photos. Like that's part of the rules. Submit the photo and we get to do whatever we want with it. So every year, Dreamtown comes out with a coffee table book. And it's all like just beautiful images from Chicago because that's what people are intended to submit. And guess what's on the walls in every one of the offices? Amazing, huge prints of these beautiful photographs from our Joe Public. And also what a great way to build a database, right? Because they have to submit in order to reach out to them should they win. You need their name and their email and their phone number, right? So it's kind of brilliant on so many layers. So right now, this is happening right now. So if you're in Chicago, and you don't even have to be in Chicago, it's anywhere. You guys can all enter, I believe, but read the rules. I can't enter this one because I work for the company, but we have an internal agent one where we submit our selfies to win money. We can win $1,000. But you guys can win $10,000, which is super cool. And the whole campaign, why do you think I'm with this company, is it's about being yourself. Like just being genuinely, authentically yourself, whatever that looks like to you. And the images, again, that we'll collect, he's going to do whatever he wants with, which I think is just amazing. So here's just another sample of a bench and an ad I would have ran on social media, a different ad on a bus. This one's my favorite, however, that's me. And although I'm not naked under there, you can see a tiny little something over there. What I am wearing is a wrestling onesie from my high school. Now, I never wrestled, but I visited my locker many years ago, and they were selling swag, and so I bought a onesie because I could fit into it. And I raised money, but it was like a reverse contest. I was like, I will not drop it so you can see what I'm wearing if you donate. Seriously. I was like, I need to raise $1,000, and until I raise $1,000 in this window of time, I'm going to keep dropping it. It worked. It worked incredibly successfully. So I encourage you to be yourself and figure out what you're willing to do, how you're willing to put yourself out there. But I can tell you, it definitely got a lot of reach, right? Which is kind of fun. So one of my favorite things to give away is this flask. This is Sheila's flask, by the way. Hi. I'm going to trip over this eventually. So what I want to do this coming year is I give out about 50 of these a year. Is I want to run a contest for anyone who has one, that they take a photo with it somewhere in the world and then submit it, right? And then I get to be on their reach, their social media reach and stuff. And then I get great photos of my swag everywhere, which I think is really cool. Sheila and I traded flasks, so it's the most expensive business card exchange I've ever done. All right, so let's talk about some contest ideas from a local network perspective, right? Because there's no rules. So if you have an idea, share with the class, right? So we're heckling, but remember we're recording, so say it loud. And don't be ashamed of whatever you're going to say. In Chicago, we did, this would be like 2014 when I was president of that local network. We did what we called fondly a reverse telethon, right? So we have access to every realtor in Chicago, right, as an example. So we have their email, we have their phone number. So all of our leadership and any members who wanted to be a part of this reverse telethon, we would go to a space where we knew we had good cell phone service. And in this particular case, there was a bank that was closed on the day that we were going to use it. So we got to use their office and their landlines if we wanted to, because then there's no excuse, right? I don't have good service, can't call anyone. No, pick up the landline. But we had sponsors donate things, right? So we had mimosas. I know this shocks you, but we had food, we had drink. We had them donate like gift cards, gas gift cards. This was back in the day, so office supply gift cards, Just Money, Starbucks cards. And we would do things like this. Everyone in the room we'd divvy up the list, right? And the first time we did it, we made this mistake. We just divvied up the list and started calling. The second year, we actually did soft calls, so it was people I actually knew on the list, because it made it so much easier to be like, I'm calling for your credit card number, thanks. And it's highly effective, I assure you. And renewals, right? So we would call people to renew. So we tried to do it around that time where we were trying to do the contest for national, so that we could really drive up our numbers. And so if you became a member that day, you would get a gift card, right? So similar to like a telethon, you get the gift in the mail. We wanted to play on that, and it was reversed because we're reaching out to you, we're calling you. So we spent 4 hours making these calls, and we had 28 new members that day. Right, so that's pretty hot. We're a mega network, so keeping the renewals, our retention rate is just shameful, and we still haven't figured out why we're just a revolving door. But things like this at least get fresh kids, fresh perspective, and allow people to experience us. So that was really pretty fantastic. I was talking to some of our peers across the country, and one of the networks does this thing called Top Dog, and basically what it means is at the next industry event, the brokerage that has the most kids in attendance at that meeting gets an award, like gets bragging rights, gets maybe a discount to the next event or whatever. But this idea of let's make it a fun, playful, engaging contest to get more people in the room, right? Because the more new kids who get to experience us makes a really nice difference, wouldn't you say? Like in the room, how many of you came because someone asked you to come to an event? Yeah. All right, and those of you that aren't raising your hands, how'd you learn about WCR? Throw it out there. How'd you learn about us? Don't be shy, darn it. How'd you know? How'd you come to your first program? Someone invited you. All right, so you should have raised your hand. So someone who didn't raise their hand.
I was thinking about it.
Someone in my brokerage was involved and invited me to.
Okay, so you should have raised your hand also. Yes.
It was a training class, and they did a presentation, and they said it's not just for women, and how you can meet affiliates and grow your business through relationships. And I thought, I need to get started somewhere.
Nice. Are you a realtor?
I am.
Nice. Well, the affiliate comment made me wonder if it wasn't to grow your business, because the idea, of course, is get everyone in the room that has anything to do with the business that we do, right? Like even a car dealer. Were you going to say something?
Oh, I was going to tell you how I got in.
Yeah, do it.
It was a real hot, steamy, sweaty night.
Hold on.
And it was a real hot, steamy, sweaty night with Jackie York and Cheryl Montenegro doing Zumba. They were seeing me struggle, and they said you need to be in women's council. So
You were struggling in Zumba? Awesome. Thanks for being brave enough to share. I like that. The hot, steamy. You had me at hot and steamy. So similar to the photo contest that like Dreamtown's doing and any brokerage, take that idea and run with it. I just think it's kind of brilliant. How about a photo contest for Women's Council? Remember when National did it that one year with Cindy Reddy, and it was Get Ready, and we had the little paper that you could carry around and put in the photo? Of course, I didn't carry the paper around. I took a photo of it and then used an app that I could just add it as an overlay into any photo I wanted. You're welcome. Nugget of the day. You don't have to touch paper, and you can still win the contest. But I think that's kind of a clever idea on a local level. So just brainstorm some cool, something that you would want to engage in as a contest, right? So don't make it some boring something. Make it engaging, something that you would be like, I want to be a part of that, right? Then I think that's going to, you'll have a better chance of it being successful. We've seen this with companies. I'm going to say Nike just because it's on the brain, and why not just get political there? So early on in Nike's career on social media, right, they could do something like, as soon as we get 10,000 followers, we'll do a drawing, right? So if your networks are sort of new in the social media realm, where you're just really starting to raise the bar on what you're doing there, you could set a goal from wherever you're at now. Like, it'd be great to start in January. How many followers do you have in January? And then have a goal for like the first quarter and run a contest to try and hit that number. And anyone that becomes a follower during that window, that you do a drawing of some kind, right? And sponsors, have them donate an item of value so that you have something without it coming out of your own budget, right? Video contest, I think, is kind of a cool idea. I hate videos, which you'll see in a future slide. I hate doing them. I'm shy. I know you get that. So it's absurd that I don't like doing videos, but that's where shy comes in my world. So I tend to default to like live Facebook, because if I try to do a canned presentation, like if I tried to do this presentation to an empty room so that I could then use it on social media, I would never be happy with it, and I would like do another take and do another take and do another take. But I'm often comfortable in a live space because it's said. Whatever I just said, I said it, it's done, I can't take it back, right? It'll show up on the comment card, but whatever. But Facebook Live, it's happening. So whatever it is, just be in it, right? So I prefer that, like that's my cheat, to step into videos because I'm shy. And so I encourage people to, like that's my hiccup, it's a big hiccup for me. So I know I'm not alone in this group therapy around it. So that's my gift to you, is just do it. Like just figure it out and do it. But I also, like one of the things we did early on in Chicago was we actually created a line item for social media. So we put $1,000 in there, and we would use it for like Facebook ads. We would use it for spending money on like, we're Constant Contact kids, so Constant Contact and the feed to Facebook, and there's some different add-ons you can do there. So we just use some of that money for how do we promote ourselves differently using the tools and resources that are out there, and they cost money. So you could have a social media sponsor, right? Have a company give you guys $1,000, but make it a specific line item so that you actually use it for its intended use, right? So we saw a huge surge when we started doing that, and we try to share that around the country because it's a really simple thing to implement. And not everyone is tech savvy, am I correct in the room?
Yeah.
Like while you guys were at lunch, I'm on my third computer just to get this working right now because I had nothing but problems. But I always come with a plan B and apparently a plan C in this case. I was almost going to project the slideshow from my phone because I have that adapter. right? If I had to. So I highly encourage be your own backup plan. I always carry a hotspot on my phone and a separate individual hotspot. So now, right now in this room, I have 3 choices for a hotspot, right? Plus any friend who has a hotspot. I find at conferences, like people, and also on the hotspots, I absolutely encourage you to change the name. So if you look at mine, if you look on the hotspot right now, you should see Ask for Sam -Realtor, which works great in almost any setting because my laptop's branded. So if I'm at Starbucks and Starbucks is a bad example because they have decent Wi-Fi, somewhere that does not have decent Wi-Fi, someone will approach me and say, "Are you Sam?" I'm like, yeah. They're like, "Hey, I saw your Wi-Fi. Any chance I can get on it for a couple minutes?" And I usually charge them. Just kidding. Buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee. How much data are you going to use? But in this environment of like I want to be mobile and I want to have the freedom to be anywhere and work from anywhere, having these technological solutions becomes very important. I don't carry 2 laptops with me everywhere, but I do travel with 2 laptops in case one goes down. My new one, my good one, has gone down today, but I can still function because I have a backup, right? So for travel, I think that's a good idea. So videos, I'm going to tell you I'm shy, and then I'm going to show you some. I'm going to show you my cheats, actually. So bear with, because I gotta do it this way. All right, and we hope that the audio is playing nice.
Yuval Begani. I'm the CEO of Dreamtown, and I want to welcome you to our BU photo contest. It's most likely already in your phone. Share your BU moment for your chance to win $10,000. At Dreamtown, we believe in authenticity, creativity, self-expression, and we want to invite you to share your BU moment and your BU photo. It could be something simple. It could be a moment in which you feel yourself doing the things that you love to do, being in the places that you love to be. Perhaps you're an in-home mom of 3 kids, yet you love welding. Whatever your BU moment is, please share it with us. It's most likely already in your phone. Just scroll, look for it, and share it for your chance to win $10,000. Thank you.
Right, kind of cool? Simple. So that's my boss. His name is Yuval, I call him the Big Y. He's not my Big Y, but he's the Big Y. So I think it's good. So that's my cheat, right? So I don't even build these. I pay an agent in my office who, oh, hold on. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, you know your feed. You don't need to see my feed. Okay. I scare people on purpose. People's like, how the hell do you find these things? I'm like, they're in my feed. I like things. So my cheat is I wasn't live in that video at all, right? So we create one of these a month. So 12 for the year. And we kind of base a theme on it. This is sort of our generic use it constantly one, right? And then we have one for St. Patty's sometime in March, right? So it's all about green beer. I know this shocks you. In February, it's all about, love you, love your clients, Valentine's stuff. Both of our birthdays are in May. So in May, we do a big one all about us, right? Like, we need your leads because it's our birthday. Like, gift us your leads. So like that kind of idea. So you just sit down and brainstorm, right? There are 12 months. What can I do for these 12 months? And in this case, I just send him from my phone. I just send him images. I'm like, all right, use these images. He already has the other pieces, right? So the all the advertisement kind of stuff already exists. So I send him those once, and then I just keep sending him new photos, and he creates the flavor of the month for me. And the software that he uses is $50 one-time fee. So if you are tech savvy, I'm happy to share that with you, but don't ask me what the name of it is, but it starts with a V. I own it, but I don't use it. I pay him to do it because it's much easier to pass it off, right? To delegate it off to an assistant or an agent in the industry who wants to make a little money on the side. So I pay him $100 for each of these that he does, right? So 12 of my budget, $1,200 a year for these 12 videos, and they're fantastic. And then I also, as long as you have the Fair Housing logo and the Realtor logo, Facebook ads will approve it. But it has to have those two elements or they won't approve your ad, right? So that's my trick. All right, there's a couple more I want you to see.
Where do you put those logos?
It's on one of the last slides because there's room for it on the nice black elegant, so we put white ones on there.
So if we email you, you can give us the link of that video?
Yes, or social media, just message me on social media if you want. There's your logo. Oops, hold on. Stop. Awesome. So again, right, I don't have to be live in the video, and so that's a win for me, right? And it saves me a lot of time, just have someone else do it. All right, moving right along, we're almost done with these videos. Hi Jennifer.
Reached out to me, and it allows me the freedom and flexibility to engage in life, sort of on my own schedule, with the ability to travel and facilitate taking care of my clients anywhere in the world. My name is Sam Powell. Be you.
So the company, he had anyone who wanted to participate could be in a video, right? So me and my business partner were in the video, and it was for the 20th anniversary for the company. So then at the big company-wide party, they played these videos of all of my peers in the company acting a fool, which was super fun. And then, hi people. Jennifer, really? I'm teasing you. I love it. All right, so this is the last one I want to play. It's not quite the one I wanted to play, but you'll get the idea. The archive search on Facebook won't give me the video I was looking for, so it hurts my heart.
We hear live from Kathy Nosek's master bedroom, and we got a little ditty of a number we want to share with you. Are you ready? A one, a two.
This is live
a
Facebook.
1, 2, 3, sing whenever. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Auntie Kathy.
Oh, Auntie Kathy.
Wait, let's back up. Happy birthday, dear Auntie Kathy. Happy birthday to you. Love us, obviously.
Yes.
Now we're gonna go back in your kitchen and have some champagne, okay? Bye.
So the beautiful thing was she was in her house. This is the kid who has the pool, which I obviously love. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's go back here. This will work. So the cheat for that one, and my message, my takeaway for that one is, if you're shy, like me, on video, make others participate. Makes all the difference in the world, right? So you can congratulate someone in their success, right? You can, happy birthdays are so easy. You could even do a sentimental one, obviously, right? But do it live and let them know that you care. It goes a long way. But I find early on, like just having, I have so many of these, I can't even tell you. And sometimes we purposely make outtakes like while we're live, like we choreograph it, it's ridiculous. But they get a lot of attention, and the people that they're for, it's super meaningful. So that was sort of my first launch into it. I was like, oh my God, this is so easy because it feels authentic, right? Because it is authentic. So it's your birthday, and I love you and adore you, and so I'm gonna make this crazy video for you. How easy is that, right? And you gifted me that today's your birthday. And so why not tap into that right in that moment, right? All right, so we're on number 9 still. Who's my time? How much time do we have? 55. Nice, fantastic. So I encourage this kind of stuff, and I haven't done a whole lot of these either, but they make sense, right? And you can actually have this entire slide deck, so take the photos, you're so cute, and if you want the slide deck, you can absolutely have it. And in fact, the slide deck will have like my notes too, like my talking head notes underneath. I'm share everything, I don't care. But an instructional video, use your talent, right? Our talent pool in Women's Council is really deep, would you agree? So let's tap into those talents, but let's start from the business perspective. Tap into your own talents first. Like, what's your niche in the market? Like, what are you amazing at? Share that with the world in a talking head. Hey, I have a nugget for you. Sylvia and I, we did it for a long time and then we paused, and we're doing it again, where we're sharing a nugget of the week together. So each Friday, we're each responsible. So she's my accountability buddy. So in the morning, I'll be like, hey, what's your nugget? And then we will each share our nugget on Facebook and hashtag it Nugget of the Week. And the idea is that's one of the things we love to do, right? So some little technological win, right? So iPhone users in the room, if you press and hold the space bar, it gives you, what's it called? The icon, so you can go anywhere in the word, anywhere in the sentence, anywhere in the paragraph on the screen. So test it sometime, but not right now because you're engaged with me. Just kidding. But press and hold the space bar, it's magical in any application, especially if you have fat fingers and can't spell, like myself. See, misspelled that word right there. That one, right there. Oh, it says shit. I love you, whoever you are. Celebration, of course, right? How awesome, right? So had I had my wits about me, like when Sylvia won, that would have been a perfect time to, I don't know, do some cool, wicked video right there at the conference and congratulate her to the whole world, right? So little things like that, and this is your person, right? So same thing with Joanne. You guys are spoiled. You got like 2 powerhouses that you could absolutely like have fun with, right? And now just take it to people in your life, right? So your best friend does something amazing and awesome. Pimp that out on social media for them, about them, but let the whole world know, because they sometimes aren't going to do it themselves about themselves. Do you follow? And they're feeding us all this data, right? So in your feed, something awesome happens to someone's grandkid. Hi, they gifted you a concept. Now do something with it if it resonates with you, right? Heartfelt open houses. I don't tend to sit open houses because they bore me. But at open houses, there are so many things that you could do while you're in there. Even just talking about the neighborhood, right? So if it's a place that you farm and you're absolutely knowledgeable about it, why not talk about that? Or a new restaurant that's coming in, or a new building that you're aware of is about to break ground. Like whatever you know, that's the content that you share, right? And you're bored and alone a bit of the time. So what a great use of that downtime to create some content, right? Live Facebook, I already sort of cheated you on that. Video casting. And what I mean by that is on Facebook, well, 2 things. Who does live Facebook videos in the room? Do you know, don't wear something that has text unless you actually reverse the frame, which you can do before you start your live video, right? Are you aware of this? No. It's simple clicks. So visualize with me, live Facebook, right? Bottom left-hand corner, there's a little magic wand. Click that. And then it's going to do the Snapchat crap where whatever that first screen is, that they've turned that off. So that's 2 clicks. And then on the far right-hand corner is a wrench and something else, but it's like a setting button. Click that, and then you can either reverse the image this way or this way. You're welcome. And then hit start the video.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm tired of reading your text backwards, people. This is ridiculous. Either do it in a mirror or 3 clicks later, then go live. But on video casting, what's really cool on Facebook Live now is Sylvia and I could take our nugget of the week to another level and do it as a live Facebook feed where we're both on the screen together. She could be here, I could be in Chicago. I can invite her, can only invite one person right now. I can invite her to my live Facebook stream, reverse it if necessary, and we can share our nugget of the day that way if we wanted to, nugget of the week. So there's no rules, but I find that adding a little humor and sarcasm goes a long way. Yes?
Often on a Facebook Live, you want to see you talking and then switch the camera to show what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like this reversing the text.
Does it mess that up?
Yeah.
I don't believe so, but I don't often switch it to show them anything else because it's all about me. I'm just kidding. I actually don't do it enough to be able to answer that technically, but Google could probably tell us. Yeah. So again, from a local network perspective, why not pull stuff like a video promoting your next event, right? So someone on leadership, some volunteer, whoever is, feeling crazy and fearless to do it, do a little video and talk about the upcoming event. Have your speaker I'm getting this more and more, where they're like, send me a teaser video, but it'll be specific. So I was in Southern Illinois, flew from Southern Illinois to Denver, Colorado, and then from Denver to Ohio, and that was really cool dominoes. That was super fun. And each of them wanted a teaser video. So I just, of course, it was frustrating because I didn't do it live, but I did it in a vacant unit that I own. Sorry, that I had a listing. I own them all. Until they sell. So this little tripod idea, I just put it in the condo, typically on the island, and usually use the kitchen because it's the nicest space, especially if it's empty. And I will do a canned video, but I usually end up having to do it 3 or 4 times because you're so, you're never satisfied. And, you put on 30 pounds, and I hate listening to my voice on video. And so once I'm like just okay with the take, that's the one I send, and I never rewatch it. That's the only way it works for me. But monthly leadership videos, I think, are a great idea, right? We're seeing National do a little bit of this, right? When the newsletter, there's oftentimes some videos in there now, which I think is really awesome. So we already sort of have the cheats of successful things we can do. Just model after some of that stuff that you're seeing, right? And model after something that you're seeing in your feed that you're like, wow, that's really kind of cool. Hi, give, steal it, right? Copy and duplicate. I forget what that. Best form of flattery. I love this idea of promoting your strategic partners. So maybe whoever your top strategic partner is, depending on how you do your tiers, maybe you go into their space and you do something with them in their office that talks about whatever it is that they do, right? So if it's home inspection, well, that's fine too. Say it's a home inspector, that you actually have them ask them some questions, maybe cute little interview that are nuggets to our consumers, to our peers about something that they bring to the table. And I love this idea of why not ask your members to submit videos, right? And maybe you have some guidelines, right? So for me, you'd be like, you can only use the asterisk in the word shit. And then I would just say that on the video, obviously. But this idea of, the talent is so deep, right? How many WCR members do we have across the country? We have a spectrum of talent within there, so let's get them to start doing some videos and submitting them, and on a local level, let's share about our membership, right? So someone's doing something amazing and awesome, do a little interview with them, or ask them to create something and send it in. But have some kind of strict guidelines, like length maybe is something that you want to play with because they're going to be big files. That if there's inappropriate, whatever your guidelines, whatever you might want your guidelines to be. And I don't know if Nashville has some kind of guideline like that, but it's possible. I've never signed anything. All right, moving on to number 8, and then these kind of get faster moving forward. With Facebook, the cover photo, right? We're familiar with the color photo and the profile photo. I change those all the time, just like my clothes, all the time. And I like it because it allows you to share a little bit about yourself, right? So every time there's a holiday, you could have something that is about that holiday, but maybe a message from you about that holiday, right? Like, it could be Mother's Day and you could have lost your mom, and you can make a cover photo that is something about that, right? It could be about an upcoming open house that you have. It could be about anything, legit, right? Like anything. And on a business page, one quick second, on a business page, your cover photo can be a video. So the cute video of me and Christina, the generic one that we do, it is our business page cover video. Now it's not formatted quite right for that, so I just shifted it enough to be dangerous that you get the idea of the message, and I'm like, how freaking clever or cool is that, right? So dabble in that, play in that. Yes, question?
Pro tip for the banner photo or the cover photo you're referring to, the size of it and resizing it for desktop versus mobile, and how often you see people and they're completely cut off.
Yep.
It makes no sense, and it's difficult.
It's a part of the game that you got to play, and I'd say just don't sweat it too much.
What do you do though, for mobile or for desktop?
I tend to start from mobile because that's where most of our hands are all the time, and then it always shows fine on cover if I start with it on mobile. And then sometimes I'll want to shift it up or down just a little bit on the desktop, but typically I really just care what it looks like on your phone, and I don't put too much into it. You know what I mean? I don't sweat it too much. Like, it is what it is. It's out there. They get the message. I'm not going to work too hard.
Because you're constantly changing it.
We're constantly changing it, and I'm not going to make myself crazy by it's not perfect, right? You remember back in the day, and I don't see too much of this anymore, but oh my God, they were so impressive when they did them. Before they moved our profile photo, you'd have to redo it every time. People would build a cover photo and the profile photo so they played together.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so amazing. That's stressful. I was dabbled in that for like 20 minutes, and I'm just like, this is not meant to be for me. But those kind of clever things I think are really kind of neat. And again, imagine doing that for a mobile device as compared to a desktop device, right? Pick your battles. And where are our people looking at our stuff anyway, right? Generally speaking, when they're at work on their computer, and when they're not, they're on their phones. So here are just some samples of cover photos and stuff that I do. So Facebook is really awesome about reminding you about things in your life every day. It's one of my favorite things to do. First birthdays, and then my memories since 1999 on Facebook. So when my brother passed away, I built this in 2008, and I've been using it for the last 10 years. Every time on his birthday. Well, on his death day, and his birthday is November 5th, and we'll be in Boston. And so sometimes I put it up then too, to tell him happy birthday, because he never returns my calls anymore. Michelle Teague just recently passed away. Both of these kids took their own lives. So check on people constantly, please. And so we'll use this one every year now moving forward. So this one's pretty recent, as you can see. And then just things about myself, right? So on Memorial Day, I will spend almost every year, I want to change them up. And so I will Google search Memorial Day Facebook cover photos. And then I will scroll through 800. And then one will resonate. I'm like, that's the one. And then, of course, my own business card. But change them all the time. So here again are some more. This is about suicide prevention, and it's a coffee shop in Chicago that raises money for suicide prevention. Obviously, our love for beer, holidays, and self-promotion. Don't be shy. This is me beating my sister in boxing. This is my sister. This is our coach who's holding her up, which I think is fantastic. This is Dina Zimmerman. I call her Shorty. She's a commercial agent out of Chicago, and this is Kelly Price, my go-to lender. And so they were in my corner, of course. And it was a charity event, so it was a lender. She's a lender, so it was realtor versus lender, sister versus sister. Oh God, can you imagine the trash talk we did up to the day of the fight? Freaking epic. It was amazing. I kicked her ass, absolutely. All 3 rounds, hands down, not kidding. And my favorite part of the whole thing was in the 3rd round, she is spent. We did 1 shot of tequila before the fight, and that kid kept drinking before the fight. I did 1 shot of tequila, and then hydrated like a champ. Foreshadowing, of course. And so by the 3rd round, that kid is so exhausted. I'm slightly more kamikaze. This does not surprise you, but I'm ready to wail on her face, and I'm like, put your gloves up. She would not protect her face, so I would just be like, and then whack her in the head. I gave you, I warned you. What do you want me to do? This, as an example, is a cover photo that I made for a Women's Council Chicago event. It was called Are You Man Enough? For that very reason, we're open to men. We encourage membership of men, and so every year we would do something with mustaches. And so this was just me promoting the event. So that kind of simple, clever, holiday stuff. Obviously, this is Apis as Santa. But I am Santa on the holidays, because only Sams can be Santas. And only Sams can go on Sambaticals as well. So here are just some quick and dirty concepts, right? So create some cool video, put it on your business page, because it's just more interactive. It could be way different than just a static image, which I think is really cool. Historical days like 9/11, I have one that I use every year for 9/11. And so Facebook is super good about reminding you the cool stuff you've done in the past. Touching messages like the loss of a loved one, New Year's, holidays, whatever you see it. But be human, be genuine, and thanks Facebook for telling me what I've done every day of my life. I call Facebook Life Book because it's like my living journal. And I have a crap memory, and so I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Thanks for the image. So again, on a local network level, any future event that you have coming up, And maybe you have a budget where you pay someone to build these things, right? Not hard. Create some kind of elegance in a brand, in a theme, maybe for your year, and then model these after that. I think would be really kind of awesome. Feature your leadership, please. Put a name to a face. Share nuggets about them. I wouldn't say racy stuff, but maybe something that your membership doesn't know about your leadership team, I think is kind of cool. Like I broke 13 bones in my body as a child, 6 times 1 elbow. So those are nuggets that no one would know about you. But feature your annual partners. Do some inspirational stuff, like in my Facebook feed, particularly this year, because it's been kind of a rough year. I admire all of the inspirational stuff that we're all sharing with each other. You guys get this in your feed too, I can only imagine if you follow some of that. And it really, like, it can be a game changer for, you're having a bad moment, and then this great inspiration comes across and you're like, okay, the grass is not always greener, and in fact, some people don't even have grass. You know what I mean? Like, you're okay. So I kind of like, keeping it kind of a gut check, right? All right, number 7. In Women's Council, it's the task is to ask, but if you're Sam, it's the flask is to ask. It was the first item I ever found that I was just like really resonated with me because you can't rub me off, right? It's etched in there, so like, going nowhere. And they can be personalized, so what I do now is I add so this is higher, but then I add a personal message to whoever I'm giving it to, and then I have it drop shipped to them. So all from my phone, I can say I want, I ask for Sam Flask, and I want it to say this, and then I want you to ship it to here. And I can do that without ever having them in my house. So the box of 50 no longer sits in my living room, which I have a real appreciation for. But the real message is, find something that resonates with you, right? That you're gonna be excited to send to someone. So if you're like Cutco, knives, if that's your jam, then own it, right? It's not my jam. This was free from Cutco. This says I'm the sharpest realtor in Chicago. I thought that was kind of cute. But this is a Cutco product, the flask is. And I think they're up to 3 colors now. They only offer this shape, which is fine, but eventually I can see them adding other shapes, which is super cool. Or don't go Cutco, go Etsy. Etsy, you can do one-offs of any shape or size that you want, of those kind of Yeti cups and stuff. Like, people have the tools in their house to etch them for you. So don't be afraid to go out there and explore. Etsy? Hot and steamy for you. But I think it really, the more it resonates with you, the more you're going to be willing to do it. Which is how I learned about how to stay in touch with my past clients. Like, my big struggle was, I'm not going to send them paper in the mail. I'm not going to send them newsletters because I hate all of those things. And so I don't want them. Why would I send them to you? And what finally resonated with me, we're actually going to get into, so I don't know why I'm jumping ahead, it's fine. But something that you can personalize, I think, is really awesome. So then you can have a sweet message on whatever it is you're giving them that's specific to them, and it's still branded to me, but it's clear that it's, Sheila's Flask, as an example. I think they're great closing gifts, even though I think closing gifts are stupid. Because what other industry do you give a gift for having done your job? So odd to me. I prefer when they give me gifts, because then it feels like gratitude. But the flask was the first one that I was just like, it's actually practical, you'll perhaps actually use it. It's 750 milliliters, and anyone paying attention knows what you can put in there. And I have had a client who is like, Sam, I don't drink. And I'm like, you drink water, it will keep it cold for 24 hours. Quit acting up, put it on your desk. So he did. Sometimes you just need to be told what to do. It's fine. I give them away at speaking events, although I did not bring one on this trip because my suitcase weighed. Someone's gonna get a custom one, so I don't know why you're doing it. You're welcome. So that's my new cheat. I don't have to carry. My suitcase was 50.0 pounds. There was no room for a flask. And since I customize them now as my jam, it's even better. Donate item to a fundraiser, so I will take that flask, and anyone familiar with the oldest brewery in the United States, Yuengling? It's out of Pennsylvania. Anyway, we can't get it in Illinois, but I have cases of it on hand at all times in Illinois because we just go to Ohio and now Indiana and fill up an SUV and put it in our house. But I will, it's like $17.99 for a 24 pack of Yingling, which you can barely get around the country. And so I'll do that as an auction item, and we'll raise a couple $100 for a $20 case of beer and a $50 flask. And the flask, by the way, complete tax write-off because it's branded. You're welcome. So is Cutco, of course, right? And why do you think I do? I'm not wearing it today, but I have all kinds of branded shirts that I wear, generally speaking, like every day if you look on Facebook. I have the same shirt in 7 colors, and I have the same shirt in the same color, 6 of them. And so when I travel and they're like, didn't you wear that yesterday? I'm like, yep, you can smell my armpit because it's a clean one. I'm telling you, I change my clothes as often as I change my cover photo. They're great thank you gifts. Don't not give them to your family and friends, right? Because the more you take care of them, the more likely they are to keep you top of mind and actually give you some opportunities. And I'm loving this contest idea with the flask. I think that's going to become an annual thing for sure. And on a local level, who doesn't like a good piece of swag? And I mean like something practical that you're actually going to use, right? I feel like at every event, because we suck at poor battery management, like you guys are terrible with your batteries, right? Who on the iPhone right now, their battery is yellow? As an example, you're charging it. See? But I feel like at every event, those should be like giveaways. You know what I mean? Like everyone needs them, or you just use it and then drop it back in like 3D glasses at a show. At the airport, is it the airport? No, at Disney, you could. I was at Disney earlier this year. You can rent a phone charger. Right, brilliant, right? Kind of dig that. So I think like you can't go wrong with a phone charger, right, as a promotional item. And strategic partners co-brand something that you're not out of pocket on a local level. I think it's kind of cool. Well, I was talking to Sylvia, and one of the things she said is, that's all fine and good, Sam, but how about we go deeper, right? How about we build our brand, our local network brand, as the go-to resource of all things, right? So you need a contractor, reach out to us. We have many, right? Maybe we build a resource, a downloadable resource with all of the vetted professionals that our peers use, right? That have been vetted by someone that you trust. So just, think about it from the perspective of what do we want our local network to be known for in our community, right? And then maybe you cater the conversations around that. And over time it grows to then that becomes your reputation. You follow? All right, so this is where it gets fun, and this is where I was kind of jumping ahead to. So this is Dina Zimmerman again, and this is Tyson. And she just had to put him down a couple weeks ago now. Goes by fast. But I was speaking in Southern Illinois, so that's like 3 weeks ago now. And the day he passed, I was still building the slide deck, so I added her in there. And then I had to remember the next day to not say she put him down yesterday, because it's a new day. But this is what happened. So when something hi buddy, poor finger, we'll get there. When something happens to someone you care about, right? So she happens to be a really close friend, but this trickles down to clients, right? And you'll see the next slide happens to do with a client. So I had this printed on a canvas and mailed to her house, right? So simple, you do it from your phone, called Keepsake, and it's so easy to do. And she didn't have to send me the image because she posted it on Facebook and I stole it, right? So this, and the first time this ever happened, and my degree happens to be photography, like I'm a huge capture moments, and because I forget them, I get to see them like the next year, right, in Facebook as an example. But I had a client, and it wasn't until, so this would be like 2016. So I haven't been doing this for very long. It's baby for me, but it finally hit me like, this is what you need to be doing. Like this is what feels passionate. So do it this way. So I have it. So imagine this photo. So dad's sitting in the front seat. He's doing a selfie. His daughter's in the back seat in a car seat, clearly screaming her head off. Like the photo is such a fantastic moment. This kid is screaming, and so he of course is like this is my life photo. And I was just like, this is the coolest photo like I've seen in a really long time. I have to do something with it. So I downloaded the photo. I went to the App Store on Apple, downloaded a postcard app, brought the image into a couple different imaging editing softwares, because that's my jam. Added a nice little sentimental message on the photo, brought it into the postcard app, had it mailed to his house, I say nothing. Next thing that happens about a week later, it's the U.S. Postal Service. About a week later, on his Facebook feed again is now his daughter, the photo on the fridge, him taking a photo of her in the photo, and putting it on social media and tagging me and saying, look what came in the mail today. Full circle, right? How kind of cool. And so I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, please, 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 you have to show this photo when she ever gets married. Like, this has to be one of the moments that you use to embarrass her when she's older, right? So we'll switch gears to a not so, to another kind of emotional touch. So Brian is a super good buddy of mine. Him and his wife had a micro preemie, which I had no idea what that meant until they uttered the words on social media. And the micro preemies, which some of us don't know, you have to have a special addendum on your insurance, or they're not insurable. But how are you going to know that you're going to have a micro preemie to get the addendum? So it's so dumb, right? Thank you, insurance company. And they were also in Mexico at the time that he was born. So then they were stranded in Mexico with the little guy. And his incubator, I swear, was saran wrap. I'm not even kidding. It was an embarrassment. So they fought. They moved to Florida as soon as he was stable enough. Airlifted, airplane ride, super cool. And of course, their whole journey is they have a Facebook page just for him called Breathe, Eat, Poop, and Grow. Because that's all they wanted out of him is like, just do these things, buddy. Just focus on these things. And so this was a super touching moment. I thought this is amazing and awesome and powerful. What can I do with it? And look at the little guy. Right? So this is how you know he wasn't born in the United States. And here he is today. Yeah, he's doing fantastic. But what I did was, one of the other photos she posted was this amazing touching moment of her finger in his little tiny freaking hand. And so I had a little zippy pouch made from my phone, download the image, pull it into one of my go-to apps. It's called Yo Shirt, Y-O Shirt, and it should say, oh, there you go. Yeah, I try to be better about that now for people. And so it used to just be shirts, which I thought, well, how clever of a name, and now they have other products. So this little zippy pouch, I had mailed to her, and so she keeps stuff in there to remind. Can you imagine pulling out your purse, something out of your purse every day? Like, there's your little guy, and you're grateful he's alive. So amazing. So because it resonates with me, it's so easy. You're like, I must do something with this image. And so sometimes I can't do it at that very moment, but I'll save it. I'll click and hold, save the image, and then immediately go to my to-do list and add because I have a daily gratitude where I try to touch 5 people in a way that's meaningful. And so it just becomes one of those. And then I bang on it later. Yeah.
What did you say you had made?
It's a little zippy pouch. So like a cable bag kind of idea, right? Put makeup in it or whatever you want, right? You put his toys in it to take out on for an outing or whatever. But they have, and the first time I did this was for another animal that passed away. So my business partner's wife had this cat, and the cat would sleep on her chest like every night. And then when the cat passed away, she was feeling some kind of way. Understandable, right? And so I scoured her Facebook to find the coolest photo of her and her cat. And I had it put on a tank top, which she now wears to bed every night. And so her cat is again laying on her chest. Aww. Right? So you pay attention, and then the answers are right there in front of you. And that's what's kind of beautiful about it for me. Oh, so here's a sample of the actual image, and some of the options, right? So sweatshirts, socks, because that's the thing now, right? So you can have anything put on a pair of socks, and I really wish I was wearing a pair today to show you because this is freaking cool. So our association, the Chicago Association of Realtors, we're installing our new line officers on the 12th. I'm still here. And I was part of the fundraising, which is not the big deal, but what's the big deal is Tommy Choi. If you don't know his name, you will get to hear about him. He's now doing a lot of talking circuit stuff, and he's got powerful messages. He's a really great human being. But we did, you know how we get creative in Women's Council about like different sponsorship levels? So in Chicago, we did one, Friends of WCR, and that's like the most affordable one, so we can tap a larger audience, right? So not all of our sponsors can afford like $5,000 or even $250. So sometimes we'll have one that's like $75 or $50. So for Tommy Choi, we have one $50. You could donate $50 and a message and an image, and it's going to show up in a slideshow before he's installed. So we've raised, God, I think we're like at $5,000 of $50. Because he's got 5,000 people on Facebook, so that was easy. We just started private messaging them like crazy, just copy paste, and we generated a ton of money. But what we didn't tell people is for that $50, we actually send them a pair of socks, and the socks are Tommy Choi. So there's a front side and a back side, and it's him casual and him in a business suit, and with it comes a postcard that says, take photos wearing these socks. He's a big tennis shoe guy. Like, I think he has like 700 pairs, something insane. And so he's always posting photos of his socks and his sneakers, right? So we're doing that, collecting those, and you can submit it so that it shows that night if you wanted to. But the win is throughout the year now, whatever his message is to the people, that will become a hashtag, and we will post a photo of his socks on us somewhere in the world and encourage him to continue being awesome, right? How freaking cool is that? So I love that you can do a one-off, just one pair of socks for someone. So I'm gonna have to do that. The purpose of this slide really is one of my other apps, because everyone always is like, what apps do you use? So I like this app on Apple called Adobe Spark. It allows me to take an image, add text, and it's a cheat, meaning they already have a ton of templates for what do you want the text to look like, right? This isn't rocket science. It's super simple. You pick the one you want, you make a few changes, the image is ready. I just then save it to my photos and then do whatever I want with it then or sometime in the future. It doesn't take long to do. This I just wanted to demonstrate to show you. So he has his own logo. His name's Grayson, and since he's like a superhero, he has, super cool. His dad has this as a tattoo, but it's a black and white, like architectural drawing of it. So amazing. Anyway, I digress. So I took that image, brought it in an overlay, positioned it where I wanted it, changed the opacity, and then saved it. And this is on your computer. So anyone have any experience with applications like Photoshop? Or back in the day, like we're dating ourselves now? It is similar to Photoshop in concept, so therefore it's also kind of intuitive, right? And there's tutorials and fun stuff like that. But if you have talent slightly over just an app on your phone, I encourage you to dabble in Pixlr. Send out cards. This is where I do for my postcards now, because I was that idiot way back in the day who was like, yeah, just auto withdrawal every month, some points or whatever. So I had like thousands and thousands and thousands of points because I was never sending anything because it was paper. And now I use it like crazy because that's what I use for my postcards, so I can actually use that money that I put in there many years ago. And they also allow you to do big cards, small cards, postcards. And postcard, you can't add a gift, sadly, because that's what I want to do, of course. But an actual card in an envelope, you can attach a gift, and they keep growing like what they offer, which is really pretty amazing and touching. So some of the things that I've done, and things that resonate with me. So the pet stuff, super easy, put it on a shirt. If it's a beautiful image, maybe have it framed, so easy, I love it, and so affordable too. The custom socks I think is great, a card and a gift. I saw in someone's house, I've not done this, but I thought it was really neat. So, and Etsy would be the place to go for this. So in there, where you hang your keys, right? So by the front entrance, I'm sure. So they had like, I think it just said home, like something sexy like that. But it said, it was the family's last name and home, right? And then it said established, and they put the year that you sold them the house. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, and they'll actually use it, right? Now it's not branded to you or anything, but they'll know it's from you, right? So I think that that's okay. And then you truly have unlimited options, right? Just bang on Google for a hot second if you're bored and be like, personalized memorabilia. There's so many ways to get to some solutions. So again, on a local network level, like life happens. People around us, things happen in their lives. So doing congratulations for people I think is amazing. Some sentimental stuff, encouraging stuff. Someone's having a rough time because we're checking in on them and we're aware of this, or they're posting something on social media that makes it very clear that they're struggling. Use that information and be there for them. And make your membership feel special, right? That's what it's about, relationships, right? But not in a fake way, in a meaningful way, like a heartfelt, I actually care, gratitude kind of way. It goes a long way. Hey, look, we're halfway there. How are we doing on time, Kathy?
Oh, we're not. 20 minutes.
Oh, perfect. No, we're fine. I told you, because these get faster. And so this one is kind of a play on the other one, but on the, someone died kind of side, right? Or someone is terminally ill kind of side. So I'm not saying you have to put ink on your person, but I did. So when Joanna Sims died, that's her autograph. That's a camera. She was my photography teacher from 7th grade. I'd known her for 20, would have been 20, God, almost 30 years. And she passed away while I was speaking in Utah. So I take the stage at 11, and I got a call at 7 in the morning that she passed away. I was like, are you shitting me? I'm gonna see you in 2 days. But I can't blame her for not waiting. I wouldn't want to see her that way either. So what I did do when her husband died, I had a blanket made that had his name on it. And since they were in different facilities, she got to sleep with him as on her every night. Don't take that the wrong way. But he could comfort her, right? And I thought that was kind of touching. And when she passed away, her daughter shared with me that she, of course, was wearing his blanket. So they were together. One of my go-to things that I just love to do, so on social media, someone will say, my grandma passed away. They won't tell us her name, but they'll just say grandma, right? Because it's their grandma. And so I'll do like a wind chime, a personalized wind chime, and it'll say in loving memory of grandma, because that's all I know. And I want to get it out the door to them. And or I'll do a little detective work and see if I can figure out what her name is. Here, well, it would be grandma, so her name. And what I think is really beautiful is then they hang it in their house. They almost never hang them outside because they don't want grandma to deteriorate, I suppose. And then if I'm over and I see it, I just smack it and I'm like, grandma wants to talk to you. And then these are kind of a newer concept. I mean, they've been around for a while, but I think that they're like super awesome, touching ways to be like, sorry for the loss of your loved one, but maybe this will give you a little bit of, keep them close to you as often as you'd like, right? So I love those. So these are my go-to things, depending on, who they are and where they are in their life. The blanket's like $65. These are like $35, and you can get crazy, stupid, and big ones. And then these guys range anywhere from like $10 to $20. Whether you want black and white or color, blah, 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 or little charms or whatever. But you could Google, and there are 1,000 more ideas and options. These just happen to be sort of my go-to, which is why I'm sharing. And this, I think, I've tried to say in so many different ways, is be in the moment, like feel it. If you feel something and it resonates with you, do something with it for that person. Or make a note to do something with it for that person. Right, so flowers, we do flowers all the time for each other, right? Women's Council, I see them all the time. The flowers don't last, that's the thing that breaks my heart, right? So they die. Sorry your mom died, so will these flowers. Get over it. I mean, I don't know, it doesn't work for me. Right? So I don't like it. It sends the wrong message when I get them, So I just like, people don't die because I don't want to get flowers. But if you personalize something, I think it takes it to a whole different level and shows, far more how much you care than I clicked and sent you flowers, right? Although if you're gonna do flowers, please do like Flowers for Dreams or something like that. I forget the actual name of it, but they raise money for good causes. And so if you're gonna send flowers because it's gonna help someone else too. I think that's kind of cool. Number 4, testimonials. We're getting those, yes? What a gift. Testimonials are absolutely a gift. Bragging rights about yourself that you didn't have to put the words on paper, right? Someone else did it for you. How fun, right? Yours would be like, my hot and steamy realtor. I think it's absolutely important that you do something with them when they come in, right? So absolutely self-promote in a way that shows that you're good at your craft, right? So the ones that are like, it was a very difficult transaction and Sam was always there for me and was a great educator and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, shows that you're good at your craft. The ones that are not so positive, don't share those. Jesus. Or share them and realize that you're a human being. When I ask for testimonials, one of the things that I always say, because I think it's really important, I'm 16 years in the business, so I know just enough to be dangerous, just scratching the surface to the 35 years. And what I always want to ask my clients is, what could I have done differently? Like, help me be better at my craft. Tell me the good stuff. Thank you, more. And then also, fat finger. Also tell me, constructive criticism, right? And if I say something that doesn't make sense, just insert the right word in your own head so I sound amazing. You follow? Same thing with spelling. Just read the word as it was intended, not as it's spelled. But I just love, and get them to send you photos. I think that would be really awesome. Our company, these are generated, meaning after every closing, an email goes out and they can click a link and they can type in the text, but they never submit photos, which makes me crazy. And I don't know, I haven't even looked into how easy it is for me to do it on the back end, but how much more impactful would it be if there was visual images too? Or I'd almost prefer that there just not be the icon if there's no image, right? Anyway, I'll talk to Big Y about that. But absolutely share it on social media, right? Let people, and then ask for referrals, like, another one's closed, I've just opened a slot for you. Who are you? Insert your name here. You know, whatever works for you. I love the idea of doing a selfie with them, or just a photo of them, but I'm obviously a big selfie kid, so I would try to do a selfie. We talk about, like when you're with your clients, especially on the buy side, right, it's a little easier. At the inspection, I made the mistake of taking a photo of my clients once, and then we didn't close on the file, so I'm like, yeah, maybe not during the inspection. And the marriage also fell apart, so now, no, for sure not during the inspection. I feel like they were inspecting more than just the house at that time. It happens, life happens, so then you send 2 gifts. So sorry. Would you still like to buy? Would you still like to buy? I offer you Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday.
And every other weekend.
Exactly, every other weekend. And I love your dog, so who gets the dog? So what I encourage is at the final walkthrough. So you're so close to the finish line, just do it then. Or at the closing, right? But the rooms are so boring. So either use the portrait mode on the iPhone, Android I'm sure has some nice features too, whatever. But do a nice quality image, right? I think that's kind of the key here. Did I miss anything? Running out of time. And I also, so ask for referrals, promote the heck out of them. Share a link. So if I'm gonna pimp out my talents, right, and be like, hey, Sam Powell was amazing. Hey, look what my client said, I'm amazing. I'll also provide a link so they can see other testimonials, right? Because they're on our website typically, right? And if they're not, please get them there, and then provide that link so people can learn more about you. And then we kind of touched on this a little bit. Is, you know, I love this idea of just modeling some of the other things that we're already seeing, like the infographics. How cool! What if you paid someone to make an infographic about you and your business? Right? If you're having an amazing, successful year, or you're, if you have a bunch of accreditations, maybe make an infographic that, I don't know, tells them what they are, like what they mean. Like here's breaking the code for my talents, right? However you want to do it. But I love that our national, you see the quotes that are coming across, right? So it's like, you know, how being in Women's Council has affected me in some kind of way, like I'm a better person. I love those quotes that they're putting out there. Why not do the same thing, right? Why not take a piece of a testimonial, turn it into a quote, and do some self-promotion that is meaningful and powerful and impactful. Inspirational stories, like referrals, right? So peer-to-peer, awesome referral. What if I did a nice video and was like, got this great referral from so-and-so in Texas, and whatever, something cool about that journey, right? It could be a video testimonial. What I love about always doing video is the video can easily be transcribed into text, right? So then it can become a text. You could post it on social media in the form of, you know, the written word. You could, what am I trying to say? I'm losing it. I need a drink. Water, just water, coming right up. But I think, this is what I was trying to say, is like, don't just peer-to-peer stuff, right? So it could be your strategic partners. It could be your lender that did something amazing in a transaction. But just be thankful and gratitude, but always do a video, because then you can take the text, use the text in a way, do a blog with the text, but you can't do it the other way so easily. That's my point. Anyway, moving right along. Number 3. I feel like we should all be doing this much better than we are, right? So I'm posting every day, just whatever nonsense I'm posting. But maybe I could focus on being a little more intentional about what I'm posting, right? Posting things that are of value to our consumers or our peers, blah, 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 our clients. So how about something like this? Again, where are your talents? So if you are a market expert in one of your markets, use that strength. So every week, maybe talk about something within that community, or statistics that are happening, or a new building that you know is coming up, but there's no signage there yet, so you're the most informed, right? So you become sort of this reliable resource about whatever you're super talented in or about. You know, news tips. I love like finding articles when articles come through and I'm like, oh, I have to do something with this. But don't just share it. Like, I'm terrible about this, but don't just share it. Actually add a layer of context that shows, I don't know, you actually read it. I think that's kind of important. And I don't know, a nugget maybe from it, like your big takeaway, so that people can get the gist of what you're trying to provide. You become their Cliff Notes, kind of, right? And then asking open-ended questions, right? We know from a coaching perspective, powerful questions are super short, 5 words strung together that promote the other person to be the one talking, right? We're always the one talking. That's our biggest mistake. Ask questions, get them to talk so that the relationship can actually be built, is kind of where I'm going with that. But you could, 1 day a week, time block, and do something intentional. Just one a week, that's all I'm asking. So, and I always tease because I don't do this, and so this is a slide in my presentation to remind me to do it. So I have a takeaway from my own presentation. You're welcome. It's a cheat. And then on a local level, right? So start with the leadership. I think, again, putting a name to a face is super important. Talking about each other, sharing what we, where our talents are. And I forget who I was talking. Oh, Lee Thomas Brown, right? Anyone not know her in the room? Because typically we all know her in the room. She's amazing. She does video emails like all the time, right? And so if you ever watch her podcast or video casting, however you want to say it, she'll do things like, if she's at one of her kids' baseball games, for lack of a better term, and a client calls, she won't take the call, right, because she's present with her family. But when there's a break in the action, she'll actually create a video and be like, hey, I'm at my son's game, here he is, you know what I mean, we're on a timeout right now or whatever. So I just wanted to let you know I got your message, and I will absolutely get back to you just as soon as I have a chance, but I just wanted you to know that I got it. And then, send it to them as an email. So I have a video that comes through their email, right? Kind of clever, super simple. Instead of just leaving a voicemail back to them, right, or slide dialing them, same kind of idea, right, where you don't want to catch them live, you can always do that with a video, which I think is really a powerful use of that tool, and it's super underutilized. So I encourage us to do some of that. And from a local network perspective, how cool could that be, right? So, Sam Powell's coming to Texas. I just wanted to, give you guys a heads up, and then here's a link to a video teaser from Sam Powell. Whatever, right? So from a business side, your own business creates reasons to be on social media, right? It's the 80-20 rule, so 80% about you, right? Like not business, and then 20% about business. And so every time there's a new listing, use that. Every time you do a price change, use it again. When it's under contract, use it again. When it's closed, use it again. On the anniversary, use it again. And if you're on the buy side, same thing. Get permission from the agent, the listing agent, to use a few of the images to promote that listing's under contract. I've yet to have someone tell me no, right? So just don't be afraid to make the ask. This is what I encourage. So this is my theme for 2018. They all look like this, and it's the 2018 collection. So I decided this is what I want the brand to look like. So every one of them, the only thing that changes is, new listing, under contract, attorney review, like whatever you want it to do or say or be. And so this is from a company called Canva, C-A-N-V-A, upper left-hand corner. It's an app on your phone, also on your computer. So I tend to build them on the computer because it's super easy. And then instead of saving the image, I actually just do an actual screenshot and then just share it on social media that way, because I just prefer I prefer the way it looks that way instead of the way they like to share it. There's no wrong answer here. So here's just a sample. So rentals, right? A $10,000 a month rental, hell yeah, I'm gonna promote that. Right, so whenever it's closed, a little bit about parking, and then I only need 3 images every time, because this is always here. And then I add the 3 images. And you just drag them, drop them in there, and then you can shift them if you wanted to, like feature a better part of the bedroom as an example. Super easy, takes seconds to do. I always bring my laptop to the closing. I know this surprises no one. I build this while I'm at the closing, and then the moment it's closed, I put it on social media before I leave the room. So just create a structure around it. How are we doing on time, Kathy?
5 minutes.
Awesome, okay. So when marketing your brand, please, 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 please use professional photos. That's why you ask the listing agent to use their professionally taken photos. And if they don't have professionally taken photos, take a nice one on your phone, right? That's when I'll let you do it, when the agent on the other side sucks that bad. But create a theme, stick to it, so that it looks nice and elegant. You don't even have to be the one doing it. You could easily delegate this to someone, right? Once the template is there, the images are in Dropbox or wherever you're keeping those in some kind of cloud solution, they can drag it and drop it in a hot second. Okay? Oops, there's more. Oh wait, there's more. Be consistent, please. And then, of course, make asks, right? So in my own building, there's 341 units. I sell the most in the building, bragging rights, love it. And so I will be like, hey, I need a new neighbor. Please send me like cool human beings to live in my building. You know what I mean? Watch your language though, because you cannot discriminate. And they're, make them Facebook ad ready, meaning because we have a budget to promote ourselves on Facebook. I'm a big HomeSnap kid, so I will absolutely take those images, bring them into HomeSnap, and then pay a small fee for them to then circulate it on social media, and I always pay for the millennial, anyone who uses that app. And I said HomeSnap. 2080 again, be professional, whatever that means to you, right? So this is Sam Powell telling you to be professional. I am my version of professional, right? So they don't have to be the same. So you do you, I'll do me. There's a really nice song about it. And on a local level, same sort of idea. Build a sexy template that you use for the year. I like this concept of having an elegant theme for that year, and then change it for the next year. And then promote, feature, and celebrate what your membership is doing. Like Joanne and Sylvia, super easy, right? You can totally pimp them out. Like, these are our line officers, and they came from our fine state. And if it's a local network, Sylvia absolutely encourages us, of course, promote your kids on a local level, promote them on a state level, share it with national. It's because, every once in a while national will get told, you didn't promote something that happened that was cool and powerful because they didn't know. If we don't share it with them, how are they going to know, right? So I think that that's super awesome. Highlight events and education. I like this concept of creating awareness, right? So we know Joanne and Heather are in Chicago right now on their way here because they were attending the National Association of Realtors mediation training, right? We were all paying attention earlier. Yes, this is not new news to you. I like the idea, if they were in the local network, I would say that that's what they're doing. Because not everyone knows that there is a national mediation training. Who knew you could go take national mediation training? Anyone? That was news to me. And unless it was shared with me, I wouldn't even know that was a possibility, right? So professional standards, same kind of idea. If someone in your local network is a part of professional standards, write something up about that, or have them write something up about that and what it means to them to be a part of the law and order of real estate, right? It's one of my favorite things to be a part of. But then, it does two things. It shows that we're engaged in our industry and doing things and giving back, and it also allows for this layer of awareness that, oh, you didn't know that this was something that you could be a part of? Well, now you do. So I like that a lot. And sort of take this sort of press release concept, right? We don't have newspapers anymore, so we're dating ourselves, but I think it's really kind of touching, right? To congratulate someone, we're doing it in social media, but that's sort of the concept. What is it? Maybe an image, blah, blah, blah. And the last one, come on. From a business perspective, I'm known for obviously not working in a cubicle to save the lives of those around me. And so I'm often found at my favorite hotel bar in Chicago called the Godfrey because it has glass enclosure in the dead of winter. I feel like I'm in one of those shaky glass things. What are those called? Snow globes. Thank you. I feel like I'm in a snow globe and I love it. And so what I'm going to do, since I have a great relationship with them because I spend so much money there, is I want to do a monthly meetup, right? So it'd be like cocktails with Sam, or Sam will buy you a beer. Whatever, we got something clever because that's not. But you get where I'm going with that. And but I will absolutely do it in this way, create a Facebook event. They have to get a ticket, so I know how many are coming, if anyone. I know how much beer I have to buy. The Godfrey will provide appetizers. Super cool, right? Because of course they're going to buy, I'm only paying for their first drink, your first drink's on me kind of idea, free apps. And then the idea, of course, is that the local establishments and I get to show off this great venue, which now they will bring other people to because it's such a great venue. So tap into the resources that you already have is kind of the underlying message here. I love sort of this charity idea, right? So you can take volunteer donations at the door and promote something that you care about that's meaningful to you in your life. if you're volunteering, like, so let's say I'm going to be part of a Habitat for Humanity build, I'm going to promote that on social media, and I'm going to encourage people to join me and be a part of this, great concept and idea. And again, it's about awareness, right? So whatever it is you're doing, maybe people aren't aware that that's even something they could do. But the idea here is we aren't in front of our clients, customers. Are you leaving me? That's my timer.
We gotta close, sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm not going to let them leave the room for a hot second.
You're late.
Ah! You're welcome. Is getting a face-to-face, because we're not in front of people enough anymore. We're so disconnected, but we're hyper engaged in social media, but where we've lost is that face-to-face contact, right? Do you follow? And please, by all means, if you are in a meeting with someone or having lunch with someone, do not touch your phone. Like, don't be a dick. Like, come on. It's so absurd. I will get up and leave the table, right? So if you're sitting there with me, like we've planned that we're going to be together and have a meal or whatever, and then you're going to be on your phone, I'm out. I'm absolutely out because you don't respect me, right? And that's how we need to, because we have lost that loving feeling. Yeah, exactly. So super quickly, people always ask me, like, so how do you now stay in touch with your past clients? Because I finally do. It's Excel. It's nothing fancy. Every year I've been in real estate, there is a tab, as you can see across the top, and in one glance I can see how many transactions I did each of those years, because I'm just curious, like, how am I doing? And so in there is the client and their email and their property we sold them and blah, blah, blah. So then I just find them on social media, learn a little bit about them, what they're up to, and then do something touching, right? Super easy. I love the organic so much more, right? Because that makes sense. It's impulsive, it's in the moment, I'm feeling some kind of way. I'm not a big fan of I have to hit 5 people and I haven't been in their lives in so long and somehow this is going to be meaningful to me. So I prefer the instantaneous. I use this app called Todoist, and you can see my gratitude assignments as an example. So these are all the flasks. And then these are the ones that have been ordered already, as an example. So just so I don't send someone one twice, because that would suck, right? Like early on in our career showing buyers, did you ever take the same buyer to the same property by accident a second time? Yeah. So build a system that works for you and how your brain works. So kind of our last slide in this respect. So on a local level, same thing with this Habitat. If you as an organization, as a local network, are doing something or giving back, like a day of caring kind of idea, promote the heck out of that, right? And encourage people to come and be a part of it so they can see what you're up to. Share everything. I love this kind of idea of like a mini tech meetup where everyone just comes in the room and everyone's responsible for providing some nugget of information about what they're using and doing and that they're finding success in, right? New construction and builders. Where we want to go with that is like in Chicago, we now have cranes everywhere, which is amazing again. And so anytime there's a new showroom, we absolutely try to host an event there, right? Because it doesn't cost us anything. We get all the money from the door. We get the builder to provide chairs and food, right? Super cool. Same thing for builders who are doing communities, right? They will absolutely let you use their model home and host an event in there, which I think is really kind of fantastic and awesome. Share often, stay engaged. On all of the social media that you use for your local network, make sure that your board has access to be an admin and can post stuff, right? Does that make sense? Yes. And then make sure you transfer as leadership changes. That becomes kind of important as well.
Yes.
So this is my kind of last slide. Be inspired, be impulsive, be structured, be systematic, be authentic, and be exactly. Sometimes you got a time block. It's kind of important. If we had time for questions, this is where we'd be, but now we have time for what do you guys have to do next. This is where you can follow me if you want on social media. I'm one of those kids at 5,000 on my personal page, so I have a public figure page, which is unlimited, so that's kind of the win there. If you go to my personal page, it'll still let you follow. I can't like you. I can't be your friend.
We could be friends.
I can't be your friend. People have to die in order for me to make room. Like this true story, this is the last story I'm going to leave you with. It's a women's council. Oh, I love this hashtag, all because of women's council. And so I had someone who I had just met at a conference, and she was cool, and she thought I was cool. And she was like, we have to be friends on Facebook. And whoever was there with me was like, yeah, she doesn't have room. And she was like, no, make room. So I'm like, fine. So I'm scrolling. I get to the letter C, and my buddy's mom had passed away like 3 years ago. So I was just like, oh, she's gone. She won't even know. And I got rid of her. And so now the tagline is, someone has to die in order for you to be Sam's friend. Thanks for playing.